Okay, so I'm just here really quickly to read. This is from the Big Book. You can get this at, I'm sure, alcoholicsanonymous.org. Um, I prefer that you support them instead of like, I'm sure Amazon has the Big Book, but if you go to like alcoholicsanonymous.org, they sell them and it's better to support them. So this is a reading that's done at every AA meeting. I also wanted to say if anybody's struggling with alcohol or addiction problems, please let me know. You can email me, VeniceAshley727@gmail.com. I know the best and the baddest and the rollest, no body brokers in Los Angeles if you're in LA. And I can ask them if they know people where you are. So I still have, I keep in touch with my old sponsor. I love her. And I have both men and women that would be honored to help you out. Okay. So this is a reading that starts like in the beginning of every AA meeting. This is one of the readings, and usually the secretary, so I've had that commitment, will go around and pick someone to read it. It's one of the longer readings, and I remember I probably read this, who knows, 1,000 times, 2,000 times, but it's kind of the funny one because it's the one that people will be like, oh man, I got this one. But it outlines the steps. This is straight from the Big Book. It's very appropriately titled. It's chapter 5, How It Works. What was that noise? Oh, it was your toy. Okay. As long as it was your toy, not your toe. Okay. How it works. I thought I had like this cute little bobby thing going to match this top. Optics. Optics. Okay. How it works. Chapter 5. How it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail. Let me just, before I will not interrupt myself again. So again, this is what we would use in OA, Overeaters Anonymous, the eating disorder group that I did. So wherever it said alcohol, we would put food. Gamblers do the same thing. Wherever it says gambling, alcohol, they put gambling. Sex addicts, it's called sex and love addiction. SLA, they put sex, okay? So if there's anything that you're struggling with, you can even insert it as I read if you want. So this is 12 steps. How it works from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous for the 5th time, probably. Okay. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. That's a big one. I'm going to reread it. It's so big. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to the simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. They're such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born this way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what it's like now. If you have decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. At some of these, we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until we let go absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol or food or sex or gambling or, right? Remember that we deal with blank, cunning, baffling, whatever's got you, Cunning. Okay, so this is a good line. Remember, we are dealing with alcohol, cunning, baffling, powerful. Without help, it is too much for us. But there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. Number 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable, or powerless over work. Workaholics should be, it's so crazy how it's celebrated. But I see people suffer because their sex or their heroin is work, but that's celebrated, but they're miserable and they live in the same sort of addictive cycles. Okay, I'm thirsty. I have lots of water around. Okay. So, step 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Step 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Step 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. Okay, so if you don't believe in God, you can pick the universe, you can pick this, you could pick just AA can be your higher power, right? Number 5, admitted to God and ourselves. Number 4, very important step. Number 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Number 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Number 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Number 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. Number 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. If you work any kind of program. By the way, Al-Anon uses this book too. Step 9, make direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. I'll talk about a few things about this in a second. Step 10, continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. So that's the 10th step, is what you do every night, kind of just like a quick but thorough scan of your day. And if there's anything that you could, there's so many times just the littlest things can be so powerful. Like if I feel like I was short with somebody, I don't have a lot of like face-to-face interactions, but like just messaging someone like, hey, I'm sorry if I was short with you yesterday. I appreciate you, whatever, that can mean everything to people, especially now. We're just in a really sensitive situation planetarily. Okay. Step 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. There is no 13th step, guys. But that's an AA thing, like 13 steppers, because 12 step, which I don't know how we went from 12 to the other one. The 12th step is to be of service. Okay. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Okay, 13th step is not appropriate at all. It's like a joke that's gross, and that's like people that there's nothing in the big book of AA that says you can't have a relationship or date anyone for a year, for your first year. Yet many sponsors direct that, and I think it makes sense. Let's see. I had a boyfriend like at 8 months sober, and my sponsor was like okay with it, but she was very conservative, very classy and beautiful, just phenomenal woman. She was, I think she was just like, she saw so much more in me than like, and thinking back, that guy was a complete loser. Okay. So, the 12th step is, after you've gone through the steps, take other people through the steps, right? Be of service to other alcoholics in any way that you can. Many of us exclaimed, "What an order! I can't go through with it." Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is that we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guides for progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapter to the agnostic, and our personal adventures before and after make clear three pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. C, that God could and would if he were sought. Have a nice day.